Hello, welcome to ApolloBoot SOLO 9.1 video guide. If you want an easy and quick way to install Amiga OS on your Apollo device, please keep watching. All you will need for this is a CF card of half a gigabyte or larger, an SD card, and the ApolloBoot SOLO software, which can be easily obtained by registering on the apollocomputer.com website. If you go to support, then to the download section, you will find the Apollo boots there together with the register button. Click on it, register, and within 48 hours you will get an email with additional information and the download link. So I'm going to start from there. Having access to the download link will give you three files. The guide, of course, very important to use, the base image file, and the SD card content. So I'm going to download the image, and I'm going to download the SD card to my system, both very small, so very easy and quickly to obtain. Of course, read the guide to help you with this process. Once downloaded, unzip just by your regular favorite unzip tool. Can be on Mac OS, Windows, or Linux. Then you will see you have the image again, and you have a SD0, SD card 0 folder. And we're going to look into this folder because you need to provide the files of Amiga OS yourself. ApolloBoot SOLO has support for the four major releases of Amiga OS, the 3.1, the 3.9, the 3.1.4, and the 3.2, together, of course, with all the updates that are available. So let's look how we're going to do this. I have on this system already prepared the content. Read the guide for yourself on how to obtain the source files. For 3.1, as you can see, you will need the ADFs together with the unencrypted ROM. If you have problems with the ROM, again, read the guide to see how that is solved. Copy it over. And then if I look at 3.9, you have an ISO file together with the ROM file. The Boeing bags are already provided on the SD card, so don't have to copy them. You see they're already there. Then on the 3.1.4, you have the zip file of the A1200 together with the update file you can obtain through Hyperion website. Copy. And then the last, the 3.2, the latest, is also an ISO. You can also use the folder that come from a thumb drive or a zip file. Please read the guide how to do that. And the update file, again, obtainable from Hyperion. Copy it over to the 3.2. So this is all needed to have the source files ready of Amiga OS. But optionally, I can put the commercial keys of iBrowse, Roadshow, and MUI into the install folder. I myself have bought those licenses. I can really recommend it to do so and put the keys over there to have them installed automatically. Also optional is to provide kickstarts for the WHD load and for running your Amiga OS on emulator. So for both you have to do a copy. Here I have collected the kickstarts that are typically needed for playing all the legacy games, and you can copy them over in the kickstarts folder and it will be installed automatically. And then I'm going to run on this system also the Amiga OS in the emulator. So I need the kickstarts for the emulator, and there you can just use for Amiga OS 3.1 and 3.9 the ROM file that's already there. Copy it, copy it over. For 3.1.4, you're going to have, different one. You're going to have to open the update, the A1200 zip file and look into the ROM and then say unsplit unswapped, and then it's there. And then for the 3.2, it's in the update file because we will need the latest one. Of course, you will need an extraction tool that is able to extract LHA files, and then you can see the content there also has a ROM folder, and then you can choose the A4000 ROM file like this. Okay, cool. So recap, everything is here in the Amiga folders, install folder, kickstart folder. Then last folder we have is the UAE folder. There you will find a pre-configuration for FSUAE and WinUAE. Please use this on your system. So for my system, which is FSUAE, I have to go to the documents folder, then FSUAE, configuration, and I just copy over this configuration. So basically I'm all set now to start the Amiga OS installation process. And there are basically two options you can choose: the turbo install and the slow install. The turbo install is using the emulator, and the slow install is the installation on a V4 device. Currently on the V2 you need the emulator install, so the turbo install option. It's not possible to do with the slow install. So I'm going to switch now to the 4-screen mode, so you can see my two V4s, the standalone and the ice drake. I will switch them on, and as you can see, we will have the splash screen for all of them. And we're now going to make the CF cards ready so we can have Amiga OS running on them. Also have this here on my standalone. Yeah, okay, we all have a picture. My ice drake should also provide a picture, and then we're ready to go. So to do the slow install, we need to copy the empty image to a CF card, and for that we need Balena Etcher. Easy to obtain, easy to use. I'm going to put in now a CF card for my ice drake, which is still not happy. I don't know why at the moment. And I'm going to switch it on again. When you enter a CF card, then it's always giving you a warning because it doesn't know. There's my ice drake. Because it doesn't know the Amiga file system, just ignore. Then choose the downloaded image and flash it to the CF. It's only a small image, so it's fairly quickly. And you can, after flashing, remove the CF card, put it into the V4 ice drake or Manticore or Firebird or standalone to start the slow install. Also very important, as you see here, to do the validation. So we want to make sure that we really have a solid image to work on to prevent any issues. So in this demonstration, I'm going to install all the 4 operating systems. I'm going to install the 3.9 on my ice drake here. I'm going to switch now the CF card to the ice drake. I do the same for the standalone. I'm going to install 3.1 on my standalone using slow method. And here on the emulator, I'm going to install 3.1.4 to use later on my V2. So let's see how that goes. As you can see, ApolloBoot screens are popping up now on the ice drake and standalone. I'm now going to open the emulator. and you can see the configuration is there. And if I choose the configuration, it will have all settings already there. What you have to do yourself is to choose the right path to the image. It's easy. Click Browse for File, and then go to the download section, and then click on the empty image. Then for the SD0, click on Add Folder, and then to the download section and to the folder we just prepared. And then very important to check if the ROM is okay. It has to be Apollo ROM UAE, which is also provided in the SD0 Kickstart folder. It's over there. So save this so you can use it and reuse it. And basically just hit start and you will see the same Apollo boot screen as on the V4s. So to install the Amiga OS, it's just click and forget. But before we do that, we can look at the configure menu. Configure menu is used to set the IDE speed settings on your V4 or V2. In this demonstration, I leave it at the default of mode 4, which is fast enough and reliable. You can choose the network stack. ApolloBoot comes with Miami DX full, which is a very nice IP stack. But if you have a Roadshow license, you can choose Roadshow here. So it's all up to you. You can choose also if you want the network to be enabled on boot. You can set the time sync method if you want the network or the real-time clock for time synchronizing or none at all. So basically that's it. Last point you can do in configure is set the target mode, which is the target you want to use. In this case, I'm doing it for the V2 and the V2 500. So it presets the configuration. ApolloBoot supports mobility, as we will show later, so you can move around the images and it does the reconfiguration of the settings automatically. I'm going to install 3.1.4.1 now, and as you can see, it recognizes the SD0 folder and it starts the installation. And it will probably inform you of all the things it does. I'm going to start the same now on the Ice Drake and on the standalone. So on the Ice Drake, I'm going to do the 3.9, and if I'm going to click on it, it will ask for an SD card. So going back to my Mac, I have to prepare an SD card, and I'm going to show you what's important. If I plug in an SD card, it should be, of course, have enough empty space, but it should very importantly be FAT32 formatted. If it's not FAT32 formatted, please do so by the appropriate tool. There's also in the guide instructions about that. FAT32. Okay, so when it's FAT32, make sure we copy, of course, the content, everything of the SD0 folder into the root of the card. And after it's finished, you can just move the SD card over to your V4, in this case the Ice Drake and the standalone, and we can do the slow installation method, the same as we can do it on the emulator. So I'm going to eject now the SD card, put it here into my Ice Drake, and then pressing enter, we can start 3.9, and here on the standalone 3.1, pressing enter, we start the installation. Okay, so we have now 3 installations running together. On the emulator, it will ask now if I want to switch to Roadshow. This is because my network setting is on Miami DX, but it finds a full Roadshow license, so obviously I want to switch to Roadshow. That's logical. I'm going to click yes, and then we're going to watch ApolloBoot SOLO do its magic. And the magic is really not that magic because it's a base installation. It does all the things you need and a little bit more, but it's not bloated. It's like in between, and you can always change whatever you want afterwards. So it's a nice trade-off, and you get all the stuff you need, like a good icon library, a good RTG driver set for the V4 and V2, network connectivity, etc. So you can see also that it's clearing up itself, meaning that ApolloBoot SOLO leaves no footprint after its installation. And that means you really have a clean setup. So when it's finished at 3141, I can exit now the emulator, start Balena Etcher again to do the flashing, put in a CF card again, and then I say OK, ignore, flash from file. So this is now the same image file, but it's loaded now with 3141. I say flash and go, be my guest. And after that is finished, 3 times the lady. Yep. After that's finished, we can move over the CF card to my Amiga 1000 and we can run the magic there on an old system. Meanwhile, after this is finished, I will continue on the emulator with a 3.2.2 installation and also try to run that on the emulator, and then we can do the last demonstration of moving around the installations between the different systems to show you that it's really a mobile solution. Okay, so the 3141 is now finished. I have to put it in my Amiga 1000. Switch off, switch on again. Okay, and it will pop up, hopefully. Then we go back to the emulator here. And now we're going to do a 3.2.2 installation. But I need a clean image for it. So I'm going to go to my download folder. Just rename this image to AOS 3141. Unzip again my download. And I have a clean image, which I can then use to do a 3.2.2 installation. The 3.2.2 installation, I'm going to ask me which languages I'm going to install, and then basically it does everything automatically. So looking at my standalone has finished with the 3.1. I'm just going to press enter. Now it's going to map the right Kickstart ROM. It's something ApolloBoot SOLO does automatically for you. And then hopefully you will see a nice desktop with all the basic stuff already there for you to use. Like, of course, shell access, internet browsing, Dopus file manager, an editor, Amiga amp for playing nice music, picture viewer, Mystic View, and of course iGame for the games, and the Riva video player to play nice picture-in-picture videos. A disk image mounter for disk image mounting, and the SD card to mount SD card within Amiga OS. On the 3.9 I say no, okay. So as you can see behind me, there's the 3141 running on my Amiga 1000 happily, and also on my emulator the 3.2.2 is going on quite steadily. I'm going to switch to Roadshow, yes, why not? And as you can see, the 3.2.2 will also pick up the updates. So we really have the very, very latest version of Amiga OS 3.2.2 running on emulator V4 and V2 within a minute. So for this moment, there is a little issue with the latest 3.2.2. We need a slight patch of the ROM. I'm going to click yes. This will be solved quite soon, so possibly the moment you see this video, it's no longer necessary. Again, it's clearing all its stuff, so you have a real clean install. And to show you that you can do this kind of stuff like playing the videos also on the V2, I'm going to start it here, and you can see it runs very easily, very fine. And I also can do a nice game like Speedball 2, one of my favorites, WHD load, all automatically supporting everything out of the box. Okay, So on the emulator, the 322 is now ready. So I'm going to try to run it now in the emulator, but I have to switch the Kickstart ROM, of course, because it won't run on Apollo ROM. I have to switch the Apollo ROM for the A4000 version of, that's a lot of noise of Speedball, which is on, of course, my CRT monitor, which you can see behind there, and not on the RTG. So back to the emulator, I'm going to choose the 47111, which is the latest. And then if I click start, hopefully I can get a full running 322 on my emulator. Meanwhile, the 3.9 is also finished. This is the slowest install because of all the boarding bags, and they take a lot of time, but it's ready now and I can restart it. Okay, what you see now is the host detection system, because I did not set the target mode to UAE when installing 322. So I have to click on yes once now to tell ApolloBoot SOLO to reconfigure for the emulator. And he will do it, hopefully, and then we can start the 322. And there it is. And okay, so we have now a 322, a 3.1. The 3.9 has the same because I didn't set the target, the host detection. I'm going to say yes, and the 3.141. So basically, this is everything I wanted to show you. Don't forget that there's a nice set of Apollo tools available in the tools directory for you to use. Please refer to the guide to see all the nice things like the Apollo Explorer and Apollo floppy tools and the Apollo WHD set tools to set all the nice zoom features, which you can see in a different video how that works. So the last thing I'm going to show you is if I want to switch from, let's say, a V2 to a standalone, I can just do it. I click my Amiga 1000 off, I get the CF card, I switch it, the CF card with my standalone, and put the CF card back into the A1000 and switch it on again. And what ApolloBoot SOLO does is it detects the host change and it will reconfigure, and the same it will do on my Amiga 1000, and the same it will do if you transfer back to the emulator. So basically, wrap up, this is one easy solution to install all the flavors of Amiga OS and have a mobility between the different systems for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy.